Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 69th episode of Kouryer podcast. Today, I'm joined with Chiara Moreni. She's a 2D animator and character designer from Italy. Now, with that introduction out of the way, could you please give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design?
Hi. So basically, I started when I was really little, like 5 years old, like most of the artists, I think. And yes, basically, I just love to draw and paint. I used to paint on canvas and everything. And I did it until I was in high school. At some point in high school, I had to stop because it was just too much. Like I was doing too many things, and the high school I chose was really, really hard. So basically, I just stop it, and at the end of it, I wasn't sure about to do with my future. I don't know if you know what I mean. So basically, I was very very confused because I lost all my skills in drawing at that point because I've been like 5 years without drawing, and I thought I needed to do something more theoretical. That's why I chose cinema. I did a bachelor in cinema, television, and new media in Rome, in Italy. And while I was doing that, I started to get into drawing again because I was doing storyboarding at the beginning. I was doing storyboarding with my friends. We used to do like short films together, and I started to gain my confidence in drawing back. So that's why when I ended uni, I just decided to do a master, and that's when I decided to do a master in character animation. I just wanted to like like merge these two passions in cinema and drawing together, and I thought that animation was the perfect choice. When I was in bachelor, actually, I did a short course in London at Central St. Martin's, which is a uni near King's Cross, and it was a short course in storyboarding, and I fell in love with all the environment, with the school. That's why I needed to go there for my master. That's why I chose the school, and my journey starts in there, like when I went to the school. So.
All right, awesome. And of course, you already mentioned a bit about your background on what you studied and how your art career kind of like interest in art happened. But the next question is, were you now in high school? Did you had a different plan, or were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path? Basically, that's what I'm trying to ask. Because a lot of times, with artists, not just artists, everyone, the preferred method or the path that usually they have is to become and it's something that society and the family always like puts pressure because they want stability for their children. Like,
Mhm.
go become a doctor, go become an engineer, that is, that lawyer. Was that the case for you, or from the beginning you knew you wanted to become an artist?
No, it was not the case. No, no, no. I did a high school in classical studies. So I studied literature and a lot of ancient Greek and Latin, which at that time, it's not that I disliked it, but I was confused. I didn't know what to do, so I just chose that path because it was like everyone was going in there, all my classmates from middle school, and that's why I chose that school at the beginning when I was 14. But little by little, I started to think that it was not the right path for me. So what I was telling you before is I didn't know that I could do like a career as an artist at the time because I didn't have the confidence. I didn't think I was good enough, and also the professor disagreed completely. Like they thought that it was not a good choice, as you were saying. So I was a little bit discouraged at that time. So that's why when I chose my bachelor at the beginning, I was not thinking that I could become an artist. Like I thought maybe I can be like a professor or I don't know. I could be a film critic because I really liked films, but not an artist definitely. So it was very very confusing. Like as I said, I started to gain a little bit of confidence by drawing storyboards when I was in my bachelor, and I just decided to do this jump. Like I said to myself, okay, I need to try. Like I really like to do this. if it goes well, perfect. But if it doesn't go well, maybe I have this other plan B. I can do something else. So yes, it is something that I decided when I was in my 20s, like 21, 22. It is not something that I thought I could do before. No, no.
Ah, interesting. And of course, we already went go through like what your profession is right now as an artist. You're a 2D animator and character designer, but
Yeah.
I want you to go a bit more in depth. Like, what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on right now? And also tell us about your experience from the start of it until now.
So, okay, so basically in uni I did a course in character animation and it was all traditional animation. So I remember the first year I used to draw on paper my animations and it was amazing. I loved it. So on and drawn frame by frame, amazing. After that I started to pick up some softwares and because I needed to do my degree film. And when I finished school I was very lucky because I got almost immediately into a studio. And since then, it's been 4 years now. I've been working in the industry of animation in various projects like TV shows or commercials and also video games. But also in my free time, I like to do more design projects. Like I like to do more character design as well. So basically, professionally, I work more like an animator, and in my free time, I do a lot of concept and character design because I don't want to lose my drawing skills. So I do a little bit of everything. And also recently, I just got into this NFT things, as I was telling you. So I'm at the moment I'm doing two jobs because that is a full-time jobs as well. I discovered. So I'm doing animations for TV shows and character designs with a little bit of animations for my NFTs.
Interesting. Which
A lot
one
of things.
is more fun for you?
Eh,
Yeah.
I love them both, but I think the character design part is the thing I like the most of the entire process. Like I would definitely pick
Mm.
that.
Yeah, because with animation, like you already have a concept and you just need to like manually just animate it. But with I think character design, it's more like it needs some sort of creative spark. That's why I
Yeah,
think you enjoy it more in a sense.
yeah, yeah,
All
exactly.
right,
I
and
really, yeah, I really like the whole. I mean, design part when I start to gather my ideas, gather images as references, and try different styles, sketching around. Like that part is my favorite of all the design process, definitely.
all right, awesome. And speaking of NFTs, of course, we're going to get into later in the podcast extensively for anyone who's curious. But that aside, how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a design project?
So yeah, basically, I look a lot at other people's drawing. I'm constantly looking at other people's drawing styles. I'm a lot on ArtStation and Instagram, Pinterest, gathering ideas. And I usually do a mood board, like in Photoshop. I just do a collage with all the photo references that I can find, and I pick everything that can inspires me. Like it could be like a frame, a still like from a movie or a photography or a landscape, maybe that attracts me because of its colors or drawings from other artists that I admire. And after doing that, I start to sketch. So I do a lot of sketches, a lot of trials before picking up the one that I like the most. And the software that I usually use is Photoshop. So after that, I pick, I mean, my chosen character and I start developing it, coloring it. And as I was saying to you before, I like to add a little bit of animation to it. So I use for animating my characters a software called Spine, and it is a software that works really well with Photoshop because I can export all the layers very easily, very straightforward into that and start rigging and animating. So basically, after I designed all my character, I start separating all the body parts in different layers, And when I'm happy with that, I'm just exporting it, and I'm starting to animating it in the other software. So this is my process usually.
All right, and just actually, the next question is actually a little bit not non-art related, basically, but it's a question that I started like asking people recently. Actually, have you ever used your dreams as inspiration for your works?
Not really, because I mean I'm very bad at remembering dreams. Like I cannot remember any of my dreams apart from nightmares. And
Oh,
I mean, my art, my yes, I only remember nightmares maybe because I watch a lot of horror films and horror video games. So I dream a lot of about that after playing or watching them. But yes, my dreams I usually don't remember them, and my art style is very cute, so I don't get inspiration from a nightmare. They're too creepy for that. So usually no, I don't.
when was the last horror game you played? Actually,
I played the Resident Evil 8.
oh yeah, the everyone's been
Yeah, that's the
drawing
last
a lot
one.
of fan arts from. Yeah,
Yeah, no, the characters were
and
amazing. I really enjoyed that. But I think I like more the survival kind of survival rather
yeah.
than action. This was a little bit more action, so I prefer more the seven. But I enjoyed it.
Oh, the
Characters were really cool.
I haven't played the seven or eighth one. I don't want to get. I don't want to say anything that might be spoilers, but yeah, you're right. The seven and eighth ones are kind of more adventure than action because the six and five, the other ones were more action packed. As like a shooting game. And yeah, it was actually a pretty good game. I haven't played it, but I just like right now I'm at the stage of my life that I don't play new games. I just watch people play it on YouTube, if that makes
Ah,
sense.
okay. Yeah, sometimes I watch them on Twitch while I'm drawing.
Yeah, Twitch as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, all right. Now the next question is: who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
So one of my favorite of all time is Loish. Absolutely. Because I mean, I've been following her since the very beginning of my journey as an artist. And I really like the way she draws female characters. Like they're very dynamic, and I love the color she uses. So I just fell in love with her art style. It's just amazing. Then I really like, I mean, animators such as Aaron Blaise and Glen Keane, like all Disney animators. Then another director and artist that I really like is Miyazaki, and basically I've been following him. I've been watching his film since I was like 8, and I never stopped. So it was for me it was really an inspiration. I think I picked this path also because my passions for his film, for what he does. So definitely is one of my favorite artists and directors of all times.
Could, sorry, go on.
No, 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 sorry.
Was I was gonna ask? Could you please repeat his name?
Miyazaki is a Japanese
Ah,
director.
Miyazaki. Yeah, yeah, Miyazaki. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's the founder of Studio Ghibli.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I remember. I remember. Yeah.
Spirited
Yeah.
Away, Old Moving
Oh my
Castle,
God. Yes.
Princess Mononoke. Yes,
It's
I I was a huge fan of
yes.
his
It's
film.
pretty. Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
was
remember.
6 or 7, I think, when I watched my first ever anime ever, and it was like a VHS tape of Spirited Away, and
Yeah,
watched
me
it with
too.
my cousins, and it was it messed me up so much as a kid because I got introduced to some power dynamics in like storytelling and also just everything for me as a child. It was so impactful, like and I always say it was like one of my movies I've ever seen, and I didn't even know it was anime. Like I knew what anime was like, what, 5 6 years ago, not so long ago. But yeah, it was a pretty like
Yeah.
the ghost guy was so creepy for me. It was so scary for me. The In a
It was
Spirited Away
amazing. Like
because
that film, it, I started watching
no,
it.
sorry, go
Like
on.
I've been watching him. Yeah, yeah. I watched it when I was 8 as well. It was my first film from Miyazaki's. And it was, I don't know, it was amazing, but I didn't, of course, fully understand it as a child. So I rewatched it like many years later, and I was like, ah, okay, now I get it. So yes, I fell in love with it without fully understand it, but yes, I need to keep watching these films because they're just amazing. I remember at some
Yeah,
point
I've been
I
wanting to.
no,
Sorry,
go
I keep
ahead.
interrupting. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. No, I was
No.
saying that I used to go to this. Do you know to these comics gatherings where people cosplay and do cosplays and stuff like that?
Oh
And I
yeah,
was
comic conventions.
yeah, exactly. There was one in Italy, very very famous, and I used to go there all years. And I remember one of those years I dressed up like Mononoke. I was a big fan, so we had the entire group dressed up like Miyazaki's characters. It was amazing.
Oh, interesting. That must have been fun. And all right, let's move on to the next question. What is the main subject of your artworks, and what made them interesting to you?
So basically, I draw mainly characters. I do just character designs, and I really like to draw fantasy characters and creatures. Um, Basically, they are pretty much inspired by role play games. I'm a big fan of role play. I've been playing D&D for a very long time. So usually when I do my character, descriptions, I just start to figure out how it could look uh, drawn. So most of the times I draw my characters. There are a lot of elves and firbolgs and characters like that.
And aside from Dungeons and Dragons, have you played any other role playing games?
Yes, I've been playing recently a game named Fragmentos, which is Spanish, and it is an horror game. That's why I'm playing it because I'm a big fan of horror genre. And it is a very easy and short game to play. You just mostly like a one shot, like you do it in a evening or two, and it is like just like it follows all the rules of horror, classic horror films. So it is quite cool. I used to play also Mage the Ascension. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No,
That is
no,
quite
sorry,
difficult,
I
but it's
don't.
but it's very nice. It is like I mean, you can be pretty much everything you want, like any character you want, and you are. It is set in modern era with magic, so it's really cool. A bit more
Awesome.
complex.
And yeah, but I just had a question. Have you played the Skyrim?
Yes, I played Skyrim a little bit, not that much. It's from Bethesda, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I played more
it's from
Fallout.
Bethesda.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, I played more Fallout from that studio. Like, I remember I was constantly playing it, like every single day. It was not very healthy, but I was in love with that. Skyrim, I played it a little bit, but not that much.
Which Fallout did you play?
The four, the fourth
Oh,
one.
the fourth one. Honestly, as a hardcore Fallout fan, the fourth one wasn't that good. I think the best one ever, like, and it's one of my favorite video games of all time, is Fallout New Vegas. I highly recommend it. I know
Yeah,
it's from 2000. I know it's from 2010. I know it has no sprint button. It's janky compared to games now, but honestly, it's such a good game. If you, for someone who's a fan of role playing game, you're gonna enjoy that. I swear.
yeah,
And the reason I
yeah, yeah. I need
ask,
to
the
try
reason I
that.
ask, yeah, the reason I asked if you play the Skyrim, because this is something that I always ask anyone who says I play role playing games. I want to know that when you play the Skyrim, did you also play as a sneak archer? Because that's what everyone plays as.
I don't know. I didn't play that much, honestly. Don't do that. I'm sorry.
No, it's fun because the thing is that in Skyrim that was kind of the meta that you always sneaked and just shoot people with bows
Mhm.
from distance, because when you're sneak there you do critical damage, and it's kind of basically like cheesing the game, and that's basically how everyone kind of evolved to play that. So yeah, I mean it's just interesting. I want
Okay.
to know if anyone who mained maces or swords or something. It's just something strange I want to ask everyone. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on to the next question. What technologies and softwares do you mostly use for your works?
Okay, so as I was saying, I use a lot of Photoshop for character designs. I mostly draw on Photoshop at the moment. And for animation, I use a lot of, for traditional and drawn animation, I use a lot of TV Paint and Toon Boom. Um, and I use Spine as well, which is a really good software I use mostly for like in-game animations. And Mo, that is very very similar to Spine, like it's very very similar to that software. And yes, I pretty much that, and Flash as well, which is now called Animate. These are my main softwares. I usually like to do a little bit
Awesome.
of compositing with After Effects, but I'm not an expert, so I just know the basic stuff.
Yeah, After Effects is just headaches. I
Yeah.
mean, it's good enough to learn the stuff you need for your works, but it's I've never seen anyone who actually says like I'm an expert at After Effects. I mean, there are people out there, of course, but it's such a technical software.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Like
It is. So
it's really hard
I
to
don't
get
know.
a
It's
grasp of it.
I'm trying to learning it at the moment. So I'm trying to, push myself into doing it a little bit more.
Awesome.
But yes, I'm not. I'm still not an expert.
And what about do you use any tablets or
Yeah,
iPads? What do you use for your
yeah.
device?
I have a Cintiq, the 13 HD, the smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually use that with my second screen. So I usually used to put all my references in the second screen, and then in the main one, which is the Cintiq, I just draw. So that's my setup.
All right. Awesome. And all right, the next question is also about other aspects of the art career and art world. It's not necessarily about the craft, but right here it is. How to grow on social media as an artist, and also any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists as well.
Okay, so on the first one, I'm really bad at social medias because I'm not consistent. So I think if you want to grow up, you need to be consistent, like being active and publish something every day or so. Because usually when I work a lot, I kind of forget of social medias. And then when I'm more free, I start to publish like every single day and write tweets or publish my work in progress and stuff like that. But I should find an equilibrium and doing it a little bit more consistently. So that would be my advice. Like trying to publish or to write something every day to just show your audience that you're alive. And I think this is the best way to grow up, probably on social medias. And what was the second question?
About how to make your portfolio and resume as an artist.
My portfolio. Well, for my showreel, like for if you want to make a showreel, I would suggest to pick only the best work you have, of course. And it is good that the showreel is not longer than a minute. a minute would be perfect or a little bit less. And of course, the first shot should be the most beautiful work you have ever done, because it needs to capture the, I mean, the audience, the people that is watching it, and I mean, encouraging him to keep watching it till the end. So this is my main advice on showreel. For the design, I would say I would recommend to, I mean, trying to do a little bit of everything, like. To try to push your styles, try different styles, different techniques, so that you are a little bit flexible with them. That would be, I mean, this is what I'm trying to do. I focus mainly on my character design, what I like, but sometimes I like to do also something else in order to show people that I can do more, like I can adapt. So
All right, awesome. And now we've come to my favorite part of this podcast, the general art and NFT chat. And
okay.
well, 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 do we have a lot to talk about? First of all, for anyone who's listening and wondering, the reason I found our today's guest's artworks and profile to begin with was through, as usual, when I was like browsing through artworks in Foundation website, which is like a huge marketplace for NFTs. I saw, wow, there's this like cute animated reptile or creature, whatever it was, on sale. It was an auction. And I clicked and I found her profile and I was like, huh, she's consistent with her style. So I was like, interested. So I checked her other stuff and I was like, I want to have her on the podcast. And guess what? She's now on the podcast. So yeah, that's how we do it. But aside from that, I want to talk about some of about how you got into NFTs first. Like, tell us your whole story, just any way you see it, please.
Okay, so I got into NFT very recently, actually. I've been publishing them since the beginning of April. And I mean, I heard so many things about NFT at the beginning, and I was very unsure if starting this journey or not. But then basically, I started it because of my partner. He's also an artist. He's a 3D modeler, and he was pushing me like a lot. Like, we need to do it. We need to try. Like, it's an investment. So I just decided to invest in it. I opened a Twitter account, which I didn't have, because I saw that all the NFT community is in there. So I started posting my drawings in there, and then I found that everyone was looking for these invitations for Foundation's website, which is this platform that works only with invitations. So basically, when you're in and you sell your first piece, you get to invite 5 more creators. So I didn't know anyone who was already in, and I didn't know what to do at the beginning. But I saw that many people were doing contests on Twitter. So just saying, I've just sold my first piece. Now I have 5 invitations, and I want to pick the best artist. So there were many people that were publishing their art below these posts, and at the end of the day, I mean, this artist picked me. He saw my reptiles, my drawings, and he really liked them, and he gave me one of his invitations, basically. So I got into the platform like that. And then, yes, basically, I started my journey with Foundation, but recently I also got into another platform, which is Maker's Place. And I don't know if you heard of it or you saw it as well. And basically, this is a funny story, because to be able to enter in Maker's Place, you need to do an application, and I mean, you need to wait then like a month or so to be accepted, because many people apply at the same time. So I was like, okay, I need to hurry up, because there is no time. Like, I want to enter in this platform. So when I opened Maker's Place, I noticed that I already have a profile. And that was insane because basically 2 years ago, 3 years ago in 2019, basically, they were at the very beginning. They were developing the platform and they were picking artists. And I remember they sent me an email and I subscribed to their platform and I published a drawing. But then I was not into social media that much at that time, and I kind of forgot about it. So it was really fun because I found in there my old artwork, and I already have an account, so I was quite happy. Just started publishing in there, and so far it's going quite well. I managed to sell a few of my pieces, so I mean it's becoming a little bit more like a second job. It's very, very, I mean, demanding.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how the NFT scene exploded in like the early 2021, and it's just changed everything. And it's just the beginning. People don't realize it. There's of course, like anything else, there's a lot of haters and doubters about the industry and the technology, but we had haters and doubters when even internet was starting off. Internet is a fad. Like if someone had an online shop for their, I don't know, restaurant, they would be like, it would never work or something like that. Or even people who were into online dating in 2002, 2003, early 2000s, they were called losers who can't meet people. Like now everyone's online dating. Like everything is online now, you know? And
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
basically what I feel like, even in the crypto space, a lot of people bought Bitcoin, and of course, right now Bitcoin is actually down a lot. I mean, I'm making a bad example here, but the thing is that a lot of people make a lot of money from crypto, because they invested in the early stages, and
Yeah,
even right now, even since the beginning, there are a lot of haters and doubters, and I think usually a huge chunk of them are just jealous people who couldn't cash in on the opportunity, and they're just bitter and jealous, and they're just trying to, as a way to cope with their loss, they're trying to shit on the technology and the thing. No, it's a fad. It's a nothing. No, no, I definitely did not lose an opportunity. So yeah, and NFT is also, there's so much still to do with the NFTs. Like right now, the thing that people I think don't realize is that, and just a small minority of people realizes that the internet is going towards like the media, the visual media, everything is going towards virtual and online more and more. Like for example, in the future, like when VR gets more advanced, like maybe just even in 5 6 years, who knows? When VR goggles get advanced, or you could just, not even VR goggles, they're already virtual worlds on Ethereum blockchain, or metaverse stuff
yeah,
like that. I don't know, have you heard about that? Like maybe they could make a city, virtual city, like in a video game, and it would log into your like video game character, and there are virtual cinemas, and through that virtual world you can pay real money to go watch a movie in that.
yeah,
So you see how the evolution of things is going that way, you know like
yeah. No,
at some,
exactly.
like, yeah, sorry, go on, go on.
No, no, no. I feel like this is the future. Like that's why I told myself like you need to invest in it and just see how it goes. Like, but I mean, you don't lose anything. So I mean, I just said to myself, you need to try. But I feel the same way. So I totally understand what you're saying. I get your point.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, now that you explained to us our story about NFTs, I want to say some stuff about your NFTs and your journey, because here's the thing: I'm an NFT nerd. I mean, that sounds so cringe, but just stay with me for a second. I think one of the reasons that your NFTs got are relatively successful and have been getting sold consistently is because of a couple of factors. One, like I'm right now browsing through your stuff on Foundation for a start, and not the other places. Your style is consistent. You know. Second, your pricings are consistent as well. Like I don't know the exact reserve price you put, but like I think it's 25 of Ethereum, a half Ethereum. It's something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I usually like. zero point 0.4 or zero point 0.3. I never went, higher than zero point 0.5. One of my pieces was sold for zero point 0.6 because the collector bid for more. So I was over
Hmm.
the moon that day. But usually, yes, they don't get higher than zero point 0.5 because for the
Yeah,
moment,
and
it's a lot, and I am not a famous artist, so I think this is a right price for the beginning. And I think if things go well in the future, maybe I can raise my prices a little bit more. But so far, I think this is a good price for my works. And I'm very like
yeah,
I was very
and
surprised that so many people were supporting my art that much. So that means a lot. So that is the best thing.
yeah, and two other things I noticed is that like your first work ever on Foundation was just a still, you know, illustration. It wasn't animated or anything. But I think along the way, someone told you, or you found that yourself, that hmm, animated stuff sells a lot well than illustrations. So let me animate my drawings, and you did, and they sold well, better. And the other thing, the third evolution of your works that I'm noticing you applied is that you're appealing to the culture of the NFT art, which is actually super smart. Because, like for example, in the Kryptonite work, you have like flying Bitcoin bugs going up. Like you try to add elements that
Like,
would sell, and because that's the stuff usually that on NFT like culture would sell. And the other one, Ethereal Goddess, you put Ethereum like mark everywhere in the background, on the earrings, on the forehead, everywhere, everywhere. And I think it's super smart. And
yeah, yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah, my work is.
you, yeah,
It's.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, going.
No, I
I
was
keep
saying that
interrupting. Sorry. It's
those were. No worries, no worries. No, I was just saying that my work. Those were like experiments. Like I wanted to see if we could sell for more or if we could attract more people. But still, my work I think is kind of commercial. And yes, about the animation part, like my first image, it was a still image, but then I saw that so many people were adding a little bit of animation into it, and I said to myself, well, you are an animator, so you can do it perfectly fine with animation. So it's very easy, very straightforward, and I think it adds more because it makes the character much more alive. So it grabs much more the attention, I think, I believe. So yes, apart from that, first the Genesis piece, all the rest of my NFTs are even slightly, but they have a little bit of animation in them.
interesting. And what are your plans for the future of NFTs? Do you have any collaborations coming up, or any ideas, interesting idea that you want to try?
Well, I am at the moment collaborating with my partner because he is a 3D modeler, and we usually work together. I design the characters and then he models them in 3D. So we want to do something
Hmm.
in 3D as well and publish it either on my page or his page. But or maybe we are thinking to open a page with a. We need to come up with a good name, with a good title. But we were thinking of collaborating and open a page where we publish all of our works in 3D. Maybe sell the 3D version and then alongside with the initial sketch, with the initial design.
Hmm.
So that's our ideas. And yes, apart from that, I have my very first exhibition in a couple of weeks. So I'm very excited. It is going to be in a virtual gallery.
Oh,
So I'm
digital
very
gallery or physical?
no, no, a virtual gallery. It
Digital?
is,
Sorry, I didn't hear
yeah,
that.
digital.
Oh,
Yes.
all right, all right. All right.
So
Sorry, sorry.
it's going to be everything online, and yes, I need to prepare all my NFTs with the descriptions and everything. I need to set up a few things before doing it. But yes, I'm very excited. This is going to be my very first exhibition. I never thought that I could do something like that in my career. So it's amazing.
Well, yeah, definitely will look forward to that. And All right, let's move on to some questions. And yeah. Oh wait, I just asked you this unintentionally. Wait, I just asked what you're working on right now, which you explain now. Let's sorry. All right, next question. What area beside the area you're working on right now would you be interested to explore and learn in the future, given if you had enough time? Like for example, imagine if you had enough time and resources and energy to pursue and learn another skill or do another thing. It doesn't have to be learning a skill, and it could be even completely non-art related. What would that be? We want to get a bit about the character of Kiera more. Chiara, sorry.
Okay, so Chiara, it's correct. No worries. So, I was saying to you before that my partner does 3D, so I got recently a lot into 3D as well. And yes, I'm actually starting to learn a little bit of 3D modeling, like I'm at the very beginning with ZBrush. So I'm trying to model my own characters. So my plan for the future would be to learn a little bit both the 3D modeling process and the animation process as well in 3D. So definitely that. Non-art related, I don't know. Like as an hobby, I used to play piano a lot. At some point, I would really love to pick up music as well, but not as a profession. I don't know if you know what I mean. Just more like an hobby because I used to love that. So it's such a pity that I had to stop. Too many things.
Awesome. All right. And well, with everything that's been said and done in this episode, to conclude all we discussed, could you please give us a roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and wants to get to the place you are in terms of skill set, like where to start, books, courses, anything? Like for someone who's here, like in terms of visual arts, zero, and wants to get to the place you are, which is like you and the stuff you make and draw. So, what would those steps from the bottom to the top look like, in your opinion? What roadmap would you draw for someone who's a beginner?
Okay, so in my opinion, as I went through that period where I stopped to draw and then I had to start everything from the beginning, like I forgot all my skills and everything. I would recommend to someone who likes to draw to keep drawing consistently, like every day try to sketch something, even if you don't have a lot of time, but don't never stop drawing because you're going to forget everything and you don't want to start again from the very beginning as I did. So I would recommend. It's not important the uni you choose, books or anything. I would recommend just draw a lot. That is my main tip. Like I would give to anyone. Make an effort and try to improve because you can see that only by drawing by yourself every day you will see improvements. It's an exercise. So definitely I would say I would recommend that.
All right, I think that's about it. Well, thank you so much for coming by. And where can people contact you if they had a question or wanted to say, "Hey, I love your works"? Where can people say that? What would be the
So
great channel of contact?
I have an Instagram page and I'm also on Twitter, LinkedIn, like a little bit everywhere.
Awesome. And well, thank you so much for coming by. And thank you to everyone who also tuned in and listened or watched on YouTube. You're awesome. And till next episode, which is in 8 hours later, will be recorded on June 9th with a very special guest. You will know soon. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.